everyone, and welcome to Petit Piano Tutorials. Today's video is technical advice on the Beethoven Sonata in E-flat major, Opus 81A. The specific parts I will be talking about today are the staccato chords in measures 32 and 33. This video was off of request by Ophir Horowitz, so I dedicate this video to him. The first thing I want to go over in this, since it's a short enough passage it won't take too long, is the fingering. Because without a really solid fingering for these chords, it can be quite difficult to play. So the left hand's just a scale, it's pretty straightforward, you can do whatever you want. But what I do, starting from actually measure 32 when you have the legato double notes, I use the fingering in this measure that Henley recommends. I have the Henley edition fingered by Conrad Hansen. So that's starting from the D and C double note. I'll just go one at a time. I have 1-5, 4-2, 1-5, 5-2, 1-4. And that takes us all the way into the pickup of the next measure, which is E flat and F sharp, and that's where I actually change it. I use 1-2 here on E flat F sharp. Then for the first note of measure 33, I use 1-3. Then I go to 1-2-4. Then 1-3-5. Then for the second G major chord, I actually change fingers from 1-3-5 to 1-2-4. So that sends me on to C minor, which is 1-2-5, then 1-3-5, 1-2-4, 1-2-5, and finally 1-2-4. And that's the end of the measure. Sorry, that was in the left hand. Okay, so there's the fingering. If you didn't get that, you can just go back and review. And by the way, if you don't have the sheet music for this piece, you can download it on imslp.org, which I will provide a link to that in the comments below. However, I don't think you would be watching this video if you weren't looking for advice, if you weren't playing this, in which case you would probably have the sheet music. So, anyways, what's so hard about this passage is that it's quite rapid, and so it's staccato and fast, and there's not just 2-note chords that can be really easily connected in the fingers, but 3-note chords, so it has to be done in the wrist. So in combination with all of that, it can be easy to sort of cram it up and to feel like you're playing with tension and everything if you're trying to do, it can feel like it's getting kind of out of your reach and everything. So I have a little technique, an exercise for practicing these kind of passages to sort of alleviate that pain or strain or whatever it is. And that exercise is just a basic drop and lift. So instead of just like thinking of sort of like poking down at every single note, I think of 2 gestures for every note. It's just a basic down and then a basic up. So going from the E flat and F sharp from the last note of bar 32, it would just be like this. Etc. And so the idea is to, when you get the downstroke, you want to relax right in the key bottom. So, for example, if I take that first one, I don't want to just like get the keys and then lock up right away and be all stiff in the arm. I want to be right at the bottom and just feel like I'm super relaxed. So I even can like shake out from the elbow to make sure I'm totally relaxed right in the bottom of the key. So I'm not like just holding the key halfway down, but I'm actually like dropping right to the bottom. And then here, see, I can shake out to show that I don't have any tension. So you want to make sure you're relaxed there, and then once you're relaxed, then you pick up. And same thing here, you don't want to be tense and locked up around here. you can just sort of shake out in this up position to make sure you're totally relaxed. And then do the same thing. Drop down and relax in the bottom. Shake out, lift up, shake out, lift up, and then drop. So each time I'm relaxing at the bottom and relaxing at the top. Because what's so hard about going up and down is that if you try to do it too fast without relaxing, your brain confuses the upstroke with the downstroke. So they require different muscles to go up than down. One of them's going with gravity and the other one's fighting against gravity. And so if you try to do them both at the same time, like really quick up and really quick down, then you immediately lock up around this area. And so it kind of restrains what the hand can do, because when you're locked here, you lock down. And so if that up and down stroke is confused, it basically will make any passage like this totally unplayable. Which is why you need to relax at each point, up and down. One thing, I can't remember exactly who taught this to me. It may have been a master class with Julian Martin a few years ago, who's a Juilliard teacher right now. Although I'm not totally sure. Maybe it's somebody else who said it. But they said tension is never just in one area. It always starts from higher up. So, like, if I'm tense in the shoulder, that's going to make me tense here, and in the forearm, and in the elbow, and in the hand. It's going to go from the top point all the way down to the hand. So, if you're ever tense in the fingers or anything, always check and go back up to make sure that your shoulders are relaxed, and even like sometimes your neck if you're hunching over or something. Because usually if the top part is relaxed, that'll just do a smooth flow down, and that'll kind of help relax everything. So anyway, a lot of this passage is just off of relaxation right into the bottom of the key. So once you get that basic 1, 2, down, up motion going, then what you do is you use a little bit of finger snap. So it's like, let's say this hand is the key. Right when I get to the key, instead of just relaxing right down in it, I use the fingers to like push off. So I'm actually like, it's almost like you're grabbing. And I use that finger snap, like in slow motion, it's like this. And that sort of like pushes me off of the key. Although even if you're practicing slowly, you want to still use quick finger motion, because the speed, the difference between slow and fast practice is only how much space you have in between the notes, but the fingers should always be moving at the fast speed. So right when you get down to the bottom of the key, you push off immediately, and it sort of springs you out and alleviates the tension, because when I do this, it takes the tension out. It lets me like kind of immediately release it. So, for example, if I just take a C major chord and I drop and then go up, then what I can do is add a little bit of that finger snap right when I get to the bottom, and it'll bounce me right back out and create like a really sharp staccato. So I'm not sure how much you can see that from that distance, but I'm just using that finger grab and tug like at every note. And so when you add that finger grab to the drop and pick up motion, it usually gets like a perfect sounding, sharp, crisp staccato, and it alleviates all the tension from each stroke. So it would be something like this in the Beethoven. Something like that. And another thing is, when I have one hand doing staccato and the other hand not marked anything, usually it's staccato also, because if it was legato in the left hand, then it would kind of get in the way of the articulation of the right hand. However, when I'm practicing, I do like to play the other hand legato. So I just get the feeling like the left hand is just dragging the weight across and it's staying in the key. So I feel like I'm connected to the instrument while one hand is totally disconnected. It helps me feel a little bit more like relaxed, so I don't feel like I'm batting and like sort of guessing at where all my hands are going. So I keep one hand just weighted right in the key, and the other hand snaps out. For practice. Then eventually you start to do both of those arms going down and up together to get something like that. I don't really want to try it any faster right now because I've actually never practiced this piece before. And so I don't really have the physical ability to just... Yeah, that's not... I can't play it all as a perfect example. But I think that just practicing it this way will help, because there's been similar pieces I've done that really use the same motion. Like for example, Opus 2 number 3 is the same idea. If you just stiffen up and shove, then it's always hard. You know, and you'll probably miss a lot of things, but if you use this idea of dropping and lifting of each one, and then you use that finger grab when you get on each key bottom, and you get a really nice feeling bounce. And so, you know, something like that. And so it just feels very free, and it kind of feels like the way my teacher used to say it is like it's just dropping out of your sleeves. And like you're always playing forward, and you're never like pulling out and feeling tension in the shoulders. It's just, it's working like a machine. It kind of feels like a circular motion almost. And it's just, it feels like as free as a glissando. It's got that same effect. It's just a little more articulated. So, I think that's about it for this. If you have any more questions, I can maybe give a few more tips, but that basic idea should really help with this passage in this piece. So, my email is pianoapprentice@hotmail.com. You can feel free to send me an email there with any questions regarding this video or requests for future videos. And I also teach piano lessons over Skype if you're interested in that as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.